3 months ago, it was one of the first offline events that was casted live. So that was some really awesome thing. And, whoa, next match is ready. No, Timo, next match is not ready. Next
It's
match
not
is
ready yet, Timo. Damn it.
The command is next match is ready. Now we can start. To our producers doing some crazy stuff. We got StrifeCro versus Silhan, and it's again a Warlock versus a Druid, but this time we got a Zoolock.
We got a Zoolock and a StrifeCro Druid, so it's not necessarily ramp. Could also be his token version.
Token version, more mid-rangey. As StrifeCro likes to play, that's more the mid-rangey version with Force of Nature Roar,
Wow.
plus those, well, Argent Commanders, stuff like that. But Silhan has some crazy... He has a coin, so first thing you want to have as a Zoolock is a coin, plus those 1-drops he can just double swipe for StrifeCro.
Well, I can tell you who wins this one.
Well, don't be so sure. You might be able to double swipe what Silhan is throwing out, but in the end, there's just more where that comes from.
Yeah, of course. It's interesting that he didn't decide to coin out the Knife Juggler. He is afraid of the Res, and that is reasonable, because StrifeCro already has a Res on his hand.
Well, he can also harass a 1-3, but
Yeah.
you really don't want to use your Ras on that.
Nope.
The good thing is, there's not only the Knife Juggler in Silhan's hand, there's also the Direwolf Alpha, and actually next turn with the Direwolf Alpha, he can already deal 4 damage out of nowhere, and that's quite strong, just buffing up his minions. And StrifeCro can only play his spells or just pass his turn. Like, attacking the 1-3, it's okay, but it's not using you anything. So you can just armor up to take only 1 damage, or you just bring that Voidwalker down to maybe kill him in a swipe.
We see he wants to Res. He's afraid of the Direwolf Alpha or Abusive Sergeant. Abusive Sergeant, of course, can also be used on the Argent Squire, but he wants to keep the board cleared.
It hurts now, so he used his Ras, he tossed the second Ras into his deck, and now there's the Knife Juggler on the board, and he really wants to have his Ras back to get rid of him. And the most annoying thing is, he might be able to swipe next turn, which is obvious now, so he attacked the Argent Squire. There will be a Ras, but there's also Shattered Sun
Nice.
Cleric. If he buffs up the Argent Squire, there's...
Please, buff up the Argent Squire.
That's like the best move
Yeah.
here. So if a swipe is coming, all those, like, 2 minions survive. This is, well, there's a second swipe. So as we said, this is going to be a hard match for both of them. We're going to see 1 swipe and maybe a second swipe the next turn. But still, this is 5 damage, 7 damage maybe with a Direwolf Alpha, even 9 damage with an Abusive Sergeant if he drops everything. And it would be not surprising if he drops everything after he saw 1 swipe going down.
He could definitely go for a swipe on a Knife Juggler. He's afraid of a Defender of Argus. If he is not afraid of a Defender of Argus, he could even go for a swipe into the face and go for a next turn swipe to clear the board. That would be extremely risky.
That would
But
be
an
super
option.
risky and ballsy, but yeah, you just, if you swipe the face, you would take definite 8 damage next turn.
Yep.
Now it's only 5, so it feels a bit better. And there's even a Flame Imp draw, so if he drops everything, plus the Abusive Sergeant, those minions will die, but he will keep his Flame Imp, so 3 damage will stay on the board. Okay, he drains for Shield Bearer, it's okay to have off, and his Abusive Sergeant will not die. That's a good thing. But that second swipe, this is so important for StrifeCro to have. And turn 5, there's a Druid of the Claw too. He might, Druid of the Claw, innovate hero ability to kill 1, but there's just too much swipe value now to not.
You have to swipe. He could swipe Innovate Wild Growth to be able to go for Ancient of Law next turn. It is a possibility.
But he has a Druid of the Claw in his hand, so he doesn't need to.
True.
But it's a good option. If you innervate now and you get your Ancient of Lore, it's pretty risky, since there's 9 damage on the board. Plus a Leroy, plus Abusive Sergeant, that's, well, it's 9 plus 8 plus 9.
damage?
That's just 18 damage. If you count the +1 from the Direwolf Alpha on Leroy too,
Ah, okay.
it would be 18, so too much. You need to kill what on the board. The good thing is, StrifeCro could think about 5 minutes now, and like think about every situation. But in the end, there's a 90-second friendly match timer, and that's a good thing to have. Doomguard for Silhan. So if you play, well, if he wants to play Doomguard, I would just drop my Leroy Abuser Sergeant now, and next turn go for Doomguard. He can deal. Well, Shield Bar is even cooler. Since there are 2 swipes and 1 Raz, if there's no Keeper of the Grove, if there's no second Raz, well, there's the Druid of the Claw. He can just charge down the Shield Bearer, but you cannot taunt it up if you're not going for Innovate. And that looks good for StrifeCro. So he brings down the Shield Bearer, he kills the Leroy, and then he innovates out Mark of the Wild on his 4/4 to make it a 6/6. So it looks like the play.
It's the best play.
That looks like a play I would do here. You can still innovate out Ancient of Lore, but that would just be crazy. So no reason to do it. You really want to get rid of Leroy. But he's on 10. 10 is so low. If there's
Yeah, but he has a 6/6 minion on the board.
And that 6/6 minion has such a great value.
With taunt.
It even survives a Doomguard.
Yep.
Well, not if the Doomguard is having Abusive Sergeant in his face.
You need to drop the Doomguard first to be able to buff it with Abusive Sergeant, and he drops 2 cards, so it's a coin flip.
Yeah, it's a coin flip that it actually works, but this is the only move StrifeCro can do here. So he clears the Leroy, and he needs to innovate out Margaret of the Wild. There's just a danger of Doomguard plus whatever, and it's just too high to not fight against it. And now Silhan is in a bad position, I would say. Well, not in bad position, but it's not that optimum for him. Iron Beak Owl. This is just so nice draws by him. Even Flame Imp and Young Priestess. And if that Young Priestess buffs up the Iron Beak Owl, he cannot even kill that one with his hero ability, just the Priestess.
Well, you're gonna kill the Priestess regardless over an owl.
But there's the Iron Beak Owl out, so that's 2 damage. Plus an Abusive Sergeant, that's 4. Plus Doomguard, that's 9 damage possible. And if StrifeCro decides that he wants to kill a Young Priestess with his hero ability, he would be down to 9. So that would be lethal for Silhan. He could heal himself up now, so plus 5 will bring him to 15, and there's only 7 damage from his hand. So that would make him survive. But still, it's so close.
It's really close.
He cannot clear the board since 2 swipes are gone. That's the most annoying thing. If he had a Keeper of the Grove,
Or a Salnus earlier.
or Thalnus earlier, that would have been so useful. The only thing he can do is heal himself up. If he kills the Priestess, that's 5 damage, plus 5 from the Doomguard and 1 from the Abusive Sergeant. Well, Defender of Argus is even better, so he doesn't even need to launch his Doomguard. He could just deal 7 and 9 damage if he wants to, and even life tab for Soulfire, for, I don't know, so many minions left. There could be Argent Commanders if he really runs them. But still, that's just so much damage.
I think he's gonna trade the board.
You think
I don't think so.
Nah, he's just going to nuke the face, since he has those taunters.
Even 9 damage.
His 1 minion just is a 4/2. So if he attacks, that minion will die absolutely. The only annoying thing that could happen would be a taunt up on the 5/5 to a 7/7. But one Mark of the Wild already gone. There needs to be the second Mark of the Wild. And only 3 cards in his hand and 20 cards in his deck. So not likely to happen here. It looks just super good for Silhan.
But you know, StrifeCro plays a lot of mid-rangey minions. Only 3 cards left for him. Okay, he's gonna draw 1. Now he's gonna go for the face.
That's just 9 damage. You cannot miss those 9 damage. He's down to 6 HP. So that's just super close to death. He gets an Harvest Golem, which is, well, the one super useless minion for you. With a Yeti, even with a Yeti, and a Soundless plus hero ability. He's just on 7, and he can only clear 2 minions. So he would not only die to Doomguard. If there's a Soulfire, he's dead.
It's over.
If there is a Doomguard, he's obviously dead. So there are already 2 cards, 4 cards in total that Silhan can draw. And not only draw, he can live tap once, so he has 2 chances to draw one of those 4 cards, and he already has Doomguard in his hand. So if he didn't have, he would have still 2 chances to draw 1 out of 4 cards to win the game. This is super sad for StrifeCro. He had a good start. It was okay with those 2 swipes, but the main problem with the Zoolock is just there are coming more and more minions. So it's not going to stop. They're just going to come more and more. Well, he's down to 5. As we know, Silhan has a Doomguard.
Yep.
This is going to be the first win for eSuba.Silhan here versus DogeHouse StrifeCro. And that's what they need. They need those wins.
Soulfire.
He even gets the Soulfire, so he doesn't even need to Doomguard here.
He should play the Doomguard just to show that he had a Soulfire.
Well, if he keeps that Soulfire in his hand, that would be super lucky. But he loses it, wins in the end. That's a 1-0 for Silhan. Well played. And they need to win. Well, I agree here. Could be possible. It's just a good deck.
Never mind, it's Rogue.
It's Rogue.
Damn, Nunya.
Both decks are good. If you play Shaman with a White Pyromancer, for example, it's just perfect to fight against Zoo. But a Miracle Rogue also.
Yeah, but I just like to see the taunts. Spirit Wolves. Extremely strong. Very potent against Zoolock.
Well, this is super nice. It's the Advent Van Cleave. So if he wants to, he just coins out a Van Cleave to make some 4/4 action. If it gets silenced with the Iron Beak Owl, or well, now it's not going to be Van Cleave. Now it's going to be coin as a 7 agent, obviously, to get rid of stuff. But Silhan,
You think so?
well, he's going to wait for turn 2 and see what happens. You could go for Van Cleave, but the problem with Van Cleave is he just dies to a Soulfire or he gets silenced and he's gone. But if you coin out an SI7 agent, you can at least kill 1 minion, like that young priestess. So,
If he plays it.
or
Could
he
also
just
just
shifts.
live tap.
Yeah, just live tab, and StrifeCro could just shift too. So he doesn't need to use his SI7 agent if he doesn't want to. He could also shift away and keep the SI7 agent combo for later.
SI7 makes most sense.
Yeah, the advantage from the SI7 agent is having the minion out. So you get a 3/3 minion out. Next turn you could kill the Voidwalker. This is good for you. But he might want to keep it. So turn 3 he could also just weapon up. And then turn 4, Deadly Poison SI7 agent in 1 turn. That's a possibility he can take. He doesn't have to. Both plays are okay. I see the advantage in having a minion out.
Yeah.
Even if there's a Soulfire coming, he loses another card.
Especially against Zoolock. I mean, you overkill the Priestess with your combo, with the SI7. But as you already said, the minion out has a lot of value, and StrifeCro agrees. Hooray.
The good thing is, that's a 1/4 Voidwalker, so he can kill it in 1 turn. Well, now it's annoying. There's a Knife Juggler incoming, but he wouldn't have any combo potential next turn to actually get the enemy killed. And he's going to lose his Voidwalker here. That hurts.
It's a painful draw for Silhan so far.
Well, we might see a shift or just weapon up, and I prefer the weapon up play.
Yep.
Or just sap the White Walker, but you want to keep those saps for Doomguards.
Yeah, if you sap a Doomguard, that really hurts the Warlock.
Well, even though if he had no cards in his hand, and it's stupid because you don't make him burn more cards. But if he has cards, like if he plays a turn 5, he loses 2 cards, but he still has 1 or 2 cards in his hand. And then you sap it. I see the value, but it's a charge minion. So you sap it, it just comes back and deals his 5 damage again.
It's also crucial even if he has no cards, like if he draws another Doomguard or a Soulfire, it's so valuable to sap the Doomguard, and it's also 5 mana he needs to throw out.
That's correct. And now we see StrifeCro just killing away the Voidwalker, which is okay to get the board clear, especially when we see the Direwolf Alpha roaming around.
Does he go for the 50-50?
Well, if he hits it and then there's that one Mortal Coil, it will be so good for Silhan.
Ouch.
That doesn't work out. It was an okay play. Well, 50-50 is just coin flip mode. In the end, it hurts so much that it didn't work because it throws you so far back and it gives StrifeCro such a big advantage. Now he can just trade his minion if he wants to. Well, he doesn't even need to. That's Soundless Shiv. It's just
Soundless shift.
those 2 damage you can deal. The annoying thing is if he breaks the shield and attacks the minion to get an Argent Squire killed, his minion will just die to Mortal Coil. Still
Still, he cleared the board
he
against
kills
the
the board.
Zulak. Like, no threat of Defender of Argus or what's the
Shattered
buff?
Sun Cleric.
No, not Shattered Sun Cleric.
Well, then it makes no
Abusive
sense.
Sergeant, sorry.
Then it makes no sense what you're talking
No,
about.
Abusive Sergeant.
And he gets a second Auctioneer, so already card draw potential is in his hand. And Shield Bearer is really not what you want to draw. Silence is a good thing for Silence. You're just getting rid of that card draw. But he wants to Mortal Coil first. So maybe he's getting another Mortal Coil. But even then, silencing first would be cool. Shield Bearer plus Flame him. And there's a impressive board again. 5 damage just waiting to go off. And as we know, StrifeCro, well, he has a sap. And you can sap Flame him. That's a funny thing too. So he's just getting more and more damage if you sap that. But now you kind of want to get rid of the Shield Bearer. Or he could sap the Shield Bearer to kill the 2-1 with his Cellness. And just drop a 4-4 Van Cleave.
Yeah.
Could also sap Weapon Up to kill the Flame Imp. Or Weapon Up to kill the Iron Peak Owl. If he saps and Earthen Ring Farseers. Every play begins with a sap for me. But sapping the Flame Imp is super nice. You just make him...
Gold Blood Zellness.
Well, the Gold Blood Cellness and kill the 2-1, so we cleared the board completely, and 1 Mortal Coil is gone. And maybe there's not a... 1 Mortal Coil is gone, and the Silence is gone. So a 5-1 Cellness seems to be a really strong thing to have on the board.
That's true. Oh, another Shield Bearer.
Plus Void Walker. This is
Dire
wow.
Wolf Alpha.
So
good.
yeah, especially the Direwolf Alpha, since the Cellness could kill the second Shield Bearer, but it's going to die trying. And that hurts so much.
Kill Shield Bearer or die trying? Oh, nope.
Oh, still.
It's not. No.
Oh, okay, yeah, still.
You can...
I was brain caught. I was like...
He's gonna throw down the Auctioneer, backstab the Direwolf, put on his poison, deadly poison, then trade into the Void Walker, kill the Shield Bearer with Cellness, and be completely happy.
Be completely happy is exactly what StrifeCro is going to be. That's the power of Miracle Rogue versus a Zulak. And the good thing is normally every other deck runs out of card. Like you use your removal and you're running out of cards while you're removing all those Zulak minions, and Zulak is just dropping more and more. But as a Miracle Rogue, you just have the option to draw back into your cards while destroying enemy minions. We saw it right now. He killed 3 minions and he drew 2 cards, and he even has Leroy in his hand. So that's really good for StrifeCro. He has 11 damage at the moment if he wants to just go for 11 damage. Assassin's Blade is super nice for him too. Could also just Earthen Ring plus Van Cleave. So there's some good plays for him. I guess he's going to run in the Cellness into the Doomguard.
He could go for Leroy Van Cleave. Just rush. Drop Silhan down to 9 HP.
Well, or just Azure Drake, hope for an Eviscerate, for example, to get rid...
That would be ballsy.
Well, you're not losing anything by that move. If you don't get your Eviscerate, you just kill the Doomguard with your minion. Weapon up, deal 1 damage, for example. Because your Azure Drake is not going to die to this 3-2. Or he just drops and Van Cleaves, as we said. Just get your 4-4 Van Cleave. That's 7 damage on the board. With Leroy, he already has 13 damage. But another Doomguard for Silhan. This is crazy. So there's another 5-5 threat. And he can kill. And it's down to 3 again. Well, Assassin's Blade. Just Assassin's Blade away the Doomguard, for example. Well, not anymore.
Nope.
Or again. So Assassin's Blade plus Deadly Poison. That's 10 damage plus 6 next turn. If he just goes for the phase, it could be a damage raise, but I would just kill the Doom Guard. So I was considering if he goes Assassin's Blade Deadly Poison and hits for 5 in the face,
He's down to 13.
and next
He
turn
will life tap.
and
11.
next turn there's again
And
11
then
damage.
a Leroy
Yeah.
with Assassin's Blade.
So that was one player I was thinking about. If you don't care, so he brings him down to 13, and next turn he
Why would he? Like, there's no way Silhan can kill him.
well, it's just going safe mode. So for example, an Argus incoming now would be super annoying. But StrifeCro brings him down to 13, and if he life taps, Silhan just lost. And there's we haven't seen an Eviscerate, so there could be an Eviscerate. There could be a Shadow Stab.
Cold Blood.
Cold Blood. So many cards that are useful for StrifeCro now to redraw. Even if he just gets an... Did he play 2 SI7 agents by now? So even if he
I
has
think it was only one.
yeah, even if he gets an SI7 agent that has some value for him, would do those 2 additional damage he needs. 11 for him at the moment. 9 damage for Silhan on the board.
There's only one Defender of Argus left, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
drawing into that is rather risky.
Well, it was a risky, but everything is possible. Those are card games, and in card games, everything can work. Soulfire is super good for him. I mean, it's just bonus damage, but he's dead.
What's his death?
Yeah, well, it was still good to try, but this is gonna be the 1-1 between StrifeCro and Silhan.
So we'll go into a final match.
Even a Blade Flurry. So this is just GG. There's 11 damage, and he could have dealt 16 if he wants to in total. So
I would have killed with Azure Drake Blade Flurry.
so that was
Style.
that was what we were talking about. So many cards.
To go for one real big kill combo. If the warrior manages to stack the armor early, he will win. If not, it's in favor of the rogue. So I would tend to go Rogue Mirror.
Rogue Mirror is what we are maybe going to see. Not only maybe, it is what we're going to see. So Silhan picked his Merca Rogue here too. And the thing is, who's going to draw his Auctioneer first? And the Leroy. Silhan has the combo in his hand. He has Leroy in his hand. Eviscerate, Shiv, Backstab is a good start, especially with a coin. And StrifeCro, well, he has a Leroy, Auctioneer, and an SI7 agent. Those are 3 good cards, but you don't want to start with them.
Well, he kept the Auctioneer. Mulligan the Leroy.
Well, rather have an Auctioneer than not draw into it, I would say.
Yeah, of course. You need it so badly.
And the annoying thing about Silhan's hand in a mirror matchup is you got those 2 backstabs, but there are not minions incoming you can use them on. So there might be a turn 3 SI7 agent without any value, but that's unlikely. And Silhan is not getting any minion, so you kind of want to have those minions and not only draw.
Oh, nice, you got a conceal. Now, the only thing he needs is an Auctioneer.
Yeah, so he has a conceal. He could just go Leroy conceal, but still. There's that one Blade Flurry for StrifeCro. And there we see what I was talking about. The SI7 agent.
Yeah, puts it down without value, but he wants to have the board presence. That will force
Another Cobalt.
weapon backstab.
So Silhan is just getting everything he needs to finish the game. But he takes those 3 damage here, and they can be crucial for the outcome of the game. I guess it would be funny to see Leroy coin conceal. He just needs a Cold Blood now, and he can just drop Leroy, coin Cold Blood, 10 damage, and Shadow Step him, and do the same thing again a turn afterwards. That is Zudrake is the first good minion he gets. But as we know,
he doesn't really want to use the coin.
well, you need to use the coin since you really want to get that minion out. But StrifeCro has a preparation plus Eviscerate, so we're going to see Auctioneer prep Eviscerate. That hurts.
It certainly does.
Well, we might see not Eviscerate,
Sap.
Auctioneer prep Sap. So you can Sap into
I would
Zudrake.
go for Sap. Even if he draws cards, it's fine.
You
And
get-
you want to keep your damage.
You got the double Eviscerate for
StrifeCro
the
doesn't
phase.
want to keep his damage.
Well, it's it's okay to give him some card draw.
I think both plays are fine, but I would have went for the Zap.
The annoying thing for Silhan is here now. Well, he has an Eviscerate. I want to say he needs to use his Leroy to finish off the Auctioneer, but he has an Eviscerate and he really needs it. If he didn't have, it would hurt him so much not getting rid of one stupid Auctioneer.
He could also go for Salnos Backstab, use a weapon and attack, but then he would take 4 damage. You don't want to drop low against another Miracle Rogue.
Well, he's already low, in my opinion, on 25. That brings him closer to that Leroy super combo. I guess we're just going to see Soundless Eviscerate, for example, since he needs to play one card first to combo off here.
Yeah, but he can go, as I already said, Salnos Backstab, use his weapon, if he wants to take the 4 damage.
But that would hurt
Keep
so
the
much.
Eviscerate. Well, he has Leroy, Cold Blood, 14 damage, plus Eviscerate, plus Preparation, and Eviscerate. He could go for 18 damage next turn.
That's 18 damage, but if your Leroy dies, then, since you could conceal him, as you said, maybe, or just deal the damage.
Can't.
Well,
If
you
you
can't.
go for the play I said. You could if you just leave out 1 Cold Blood.
Correct, but
And it's
well,
14 damage.
if he if you don't conceal him and he dies, you're just screwed. Since how are you going to do more damage? You used 1 Eviscerate. You don't have any more charged minions. You need to wait for your Assassin's Blade or just your Deadly Poisons to deal those additional damage. That's not what you want to rely on.
Nope, it's risky.
Yeah, Selna's Eviscerate is what we're going to see. And that's the best play here to do. He was thinking about concealing his minion, but if you draw an Auctioneer next turn, you're going to cry about having used your conceal.
Nice.
Well, you can shift, or also sap a Selnus to prevent the card draw. So, wouldn't even be wrong, in my opinion.
Sap Salnos, he wants to get his own card draw running.
Well, if you sap Selnus, you can just drop a Van Cleef for 4/4, or just heal yourself up. The problem
Could
is,
also shift in Salnos.
yeah,
Shift and go for Van Cleef.
the annoying thing is you just give him those additional cards, and those additional cards can just be one card too much, like that are your death.
True.
Well, Deadly Poison is there, but no Blade Flurry, for example. He can build up a good Van Cleef. So we might see Weapon Up, Deadly Poison, go for the Preparation, Backstab, Van Cleef, and Conceal it. So Backstab before, then Preparation, Van Cleef, and then Conceal him. And you would have a 1, 2, 3. Well, that would only be an 8A Van Cleef, but having it out is already value. But for your enemy, it's turn 7. He got 7 damage on the board, 1 in his hand. So turn 7, there could be already Leroy, Shadow Step, Leroy, Cold Blood. That's 16 damage plus 7 on the board, 23. Well, with a weapon, it's quiet, not enough, exactly 1. So,
well, if he has another Prep, Eviscerate, or Prep, another Cold Blood, it's over.
I guess.
But he doesn't even have Leroy or Shadow Steps on his hand. So
I would go for the really crazy Van Cleef here. Well, not the crazy Van Cleef, just the obvious Van Cleef play you can do here. Just you're getting an 8/8 and you can conceal it. And he did so next turn. This is what is really important. There's 11 damage he can do plus 14 damage. So that's only 25. With an Eviscerate, he would win. Or with another Deadly Poison.
No, he has 27 damage.
Is 11 plus 14.
14, true. Not 16.
Yeah, that's...
That wasn't a Shadow Stab, that was a Cold Blood, god damn it.
But was a Shadow Stab? It's already enough. So there are so many cards for Silhan to draw now. But StrifeCro has 1 heal. If he plays that Earthen Ring Force here, he just saves himself barely from dying, even if there's a Eviscerate coming. He just survives. Super close. And he keeps his 7 damage on the board. And this is so important. It all comes down. Is he going to play that heal or not?
Why wouldn't he?
Why wouldn't he? That's a big question.
Like he can just go for Earthen Ring Farseer, Eviscerate the face, drop him down to 13.
Correct. And that's what we're most likely going to see. He could, instead of Eviscerate, just attack with his weapon, weapon up again for next turn, Deadly Poison, Eviscerate, plus Blade Flurry. So that's also a possibility. But the order doesn't matter. He can do that next turn also. It looks good for StrifeCro. Those Urzan Ring Farseers are really getting him in ahead. And if Silhan just looks at his own recording, that's super annoying if you see your enemy's hand. And this is funny too, like the players already played it, and they can watch the games again and actually see the decisions they did, recapitulate them, but watch at the same time the enemy's hand. And then we see what we're talking about. It's barely not enough damage to win the game here. It's just 25 damage for him. I guess he needs to go Auctioneer, double Cold Blood.
Or Cold Blood, wait, see what you get, and then Cold Blood again.
Yeah, hope for preparation to maybe get a Blade Flurry. So if he gets a preparation and a Blade Flurry now, that would be devastating for StrifeCro. But he gets 2 times a useless card. That's only 16 damage, and he's down to 16, and there's 10 damage on the board. And we know StrifeCro next turn can deal 6 damage with his weapon, plus 4 from Eviscerate.
It's more than lethal.
That's just 10 damage alone with a Deadly Poison and a Cold Blood.
Yes, I don't know. So much damage. So, DogeHouse are gonna beat eSuba 3-1.
That's surprising that eSuba is losing here. But
They didn't even go into a showdown match.
yeah, that was a rather quick thing overall. So it's 3-1 for DogeHouse. eSuba loses their first match